Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel. In my first study in Korea video, I have mentioned that there are several types of scholarship here in South Korea. As for me, I am under a university slash laboratory slash professor type of scholarship, and that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. Let's get started! Now guys, for this scholarship, the very first step of getting this type, and I think it's also the most important requirement, is to have a professor or a laboratory. Since the professor will be the one who will recommend you to the graduate office of the university, and he or she could also be your financial sponsor here. In my case, my professor and his laboratory funds provide my salary or allowance. So now the main question is how? How do we find a university, a laboratory, or a professor that could support our study in Korea? Now guys, the steps that I'll discuss in this video are just my own ideas and suggestions, and these are not necessarily the standard protocols of getting this type of scholarship. First step guys, get your laptop, go to your computer, and have your internet ready. If not all, most of the laboratories here have their own websites, so we could start from there. And if you have a particular research area in mind, you could use that as keywords in the search bar. And as I have mentioned guys, if you have a particular research area in mind, you could start from there and we could use that research interest as keywords in our search bar. So in my case, my research interest is catalysis. So catalysis laboratory in South Korea. So usually I would type keywords in this manner. And tada! There you have it. These are the list of the laboratories in South Korea that have catalysis as their research focus. So let's try to check them out. As I have mentioned, the laboratories here have their own websites. So this is an example of a laboratory website. So there are websites wherein you could instantly see if they are looking for a student. So this is what I'm talking about. They are seeking highly qualified and modified PhD or combined MS PhD students to work in research areas such as solar water splitting, electrocatalysis, and synthesis of materials. So if you have any questions or you would like to apply, then you may contact this professor at this email. Also here, there are open positions for postdoc in the following research area. And guys, there are also websites where you have to go to the news bar or to the notice board for the announcements if they have any positions available. And oh, for this lab, we have this announcement, PhD and postdoctoral positions available. So for this laboratory, I have used the keyword smart materials. So they're looking for PhD applicants in mechanical engineering for fall 2020. So yeah, the same. Looking for highly motivated applicants in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, or material engineering. You may submit your CV, resume, publications in this email. So yeah, don't forget to check also the news bar for the other laboratories. And for this video, just like what I've said, I have used the keyword smart material, renewable energy, and catalysis. So yeah, this for this laboratory, they're also recommending you or inspiring you to join their lab. So if you're interested, please feel free to contact them. And then another one, just like the first website we visited, upon opening the website, we could already see an announcement. So we are recruiting new graduate students and undergraduate research students. So they also provide the contact details. And then another one. So you could already see we're looking for motivated graduate student researcher. And another one. Interested in getting involved? We're constantly looking to add new group members at all levels. Wow, undergraduate, graduate, postdoc, staff, research positions. So yeah, basically that's how we look or we find for open positions for MS, PhD, integrated master's PhD, and even postdoc positions here. We could start with our research interest.
So guys, you just really have to be patient in searching and in looking for professors, okay? So while browsing for the websites, you could check the credentials of the professors, their publications, the laboratory status, the equipments available, the members, and if ever that you like the laboratory or you think you fit in that laboratory, you could send an email or a letter of intent to the professor or to the contact person of the laboratory. And in that email, you could express your intent to join as a graduate student or as a researcher. And you could also mention that your research interests are aligned with theirs, and if ever that you have previous backgrounds with the research area, that might help also, so you should also mention that. Another note, guys, even though you've sent this email, there are professors who respond, thankfully, and there are also professors who do not respond. So maybe that's because of their busy schedule. So don't lose hope. You just have to wait and then keep on searching. For the professors who respond to the email, some of them might arrange a short interview with you to get to know you and just so you could present your qualifications better. So make sure to prepare and nail this interview. Now guys, apart from Google or any other search engines, there are also professors or laboratories that are looking for new lab members, new students, highly motivated individuals who would like to join their laboratory through social media accounts such as Facebook. So personally, I've seen a lot of postings in Facebook about the availability or open scholarship or open positions for graduate school here. So I would just like to recommend you to also check some websites or Facebook page of some organizations here in South Korea. And in addition, of course, guys, don't forget to check the official website of Study in Korea for the latest updates regarding studying here or if there are any scholarships available. And now the question is, what's next? What's next after finding a professor or laboratory that could support our study here? It's the completion and submission of the admission requirements. So another reminder, guys, even though we already got ourselves a professor, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're already accepted. We still have to complete and submit the admission requirements on time. In my case, I submitted these requirements via email and also by post office just to be sure. And that time, these requirements, it took them 3 to 4 days to reach South Korea from the Philippines. So you also have to be mindful of the deadlines and make sure to submit these requirements on time.
So guys, this is an example of an application checklist, or this is the list of the admission requirements that we have to organize in the following order and submit on time. So these documents could be submitted in Korean or English. So in my case, I didn't know Korean back then, so I submitted the documents in English. So this is the list that I followed, submitted, completed that time. So let's just use this as a reference. First one, application form. So this application form is included in this file, since this file contains 5 pages. So we'll get to that later, but we'll explore more of the application form later. Next one, certificate of expected graduation, undergraduate and graduate, and official transcripts, undergraduate and graduate. So they said here, or they included here, undergraduate and graduate, just in case you have already completed your master's degree in another place or in your country. So this is a diploma and this is the transcript of records. Next, recommendation letter by professor or academic advisor in sealed signed envelopes. In my case, I was required to submit 2 recommendation letter. So I asked from the department head of my university and from a college professor. Next one, study plan. So in this study plan, you could include your previous research backgrounds, the objective of the research you would want to conduct here, and your future plans. Next one, guys, release of information authorization. 1 for MS and 2 for PhD. So this is needed to verify the validity of your submitted documents, particularly the diploma, certificate of graduation, and the official transcripts of records. So, by having this or by submitting this, you are giving authority to the university officials to verify your credentials through a specific person. So it could be the registrar of your college, university. Next, the easiest one, to color photos. So that will be easy. Just make sure you follow the correct size of the photo. And then this one, the official transcript of language competence test. So depending on the major you're having here, the grade requirement varies. In my case, I took the IELTS before going here as part of the requirement, and the grade requirement is 5.5. So thankfully, I was able to attain or to achieve the grade requirement. So yeah, that's it. You could opt for TOEFL, IELTS, or TEPS. So I'm not familiar with TEPS, but for me, I have taken the IELTS. And then photocopy of the passport, the personal information page. And if ever you're already in Korea, you have to submit a photocopy of your alien registration card. And lastly, application fee. So back then, I paid 70 US dollars as an application fee, but I think maybe this amount already changed. So yeah, these are the list of admission requirements. Make sure to organize them in this order and of course submit them on time. And then going down, as I have mentioned, this is an example of an application form. So let's try to browse a little bit. So personal information, name, address, passport number, phone number, citizenship, birthday. And yeah, this part is very important, guys. This is why we need to find a professor first because we have to fill up the name of the department and the specific major, which will depend on our professor. So that's why we need a professor first. And then academic information, name of the school you have graduated, your bachelor's, your college degree, and also master's or other degree you have obtained. And in the Philippines, we have a different grading system. So they want it to be in the scale of 100 scale. So make sure to have your grade converted to the corresponding or the required scale. And this one, language proficiency test score. So you just have to fill this up depending on the test you have taken. As for me, as I have mentioned, I've taken IELTS. So the score, registration number, and then the date of the test. And for this part, I think this is a self-assessment part. So Korean proficiency and English proficiency. So yeah, and then you have to pay a non-refundable application fee of 70 US dollars. And then this is a sample of a recommendation form. So let's also take a look. Recommendation form rather, applicant information, name, address, and then to the person providing the recommendation, he or she is required to answer two parts. So this is an assessment of some of the skills of the applicant. So yeah, like this. And then there's another part where the person giving the recommendation should provide the applicant's strengths and weaknesses, intellectual and personal qualification necessary for success in graduate work, and if ever he or she support the admission of the applicant. So, and this part is the details of the person providing the recommendation. So make sure that whoever you would ask to give you a recommendation really knows you well. So, yeah, this is an example of the recommendation form. And then for the study plan, so this is just one page, but according here, you could attach additional pages in case you need more space. So you could talk about your study plans, academic or professional backgrounds in case they are relevant to your past academic interests, as well as your future career or future plans upon finishing the program you're applying for. Study plan, and then this is the last page, guys. Release of information authorization. So yeah, this will be more of the details from your university. Name, address, your major, website, and then the name of the registrar or the officer in charge. So yeah, this is very important. By sending this application form for admission to the university, you would hereby authorize the officials to confer with others to obtain and verify your credentials and qualifications as a provider. So make sure to double check every details and every requirements before submitting them. So yeah, that's it for the requirements.
And after completing, submitting, and mailing the admission requirements, now we wait, we hope, and we pray. And if everything goes well, ta-da! Accepted! So upon getting accepted, just make sure to be in contact with the graduate school office of the university for further announcements or if there are any other requirements that you have to submit. So yeah, that's it guys. I hope you find this video helpful and wishing you all the best and good luck to those who would like to apply and study here in Korea. See you next time. Bye! Hot.